took over the Flyers, and he's using the same methods that Dean Lombardi is using to rebuild the Flyers, drafting top-notch kids through the draft, giving them time to grow, bringing them up slowly, building the team one player at a time. And right now they've got very good young defensemen in Provorov, Gustafsson, Travis Sanheim. The only thing that's missing now is they need that lockdown goaltender who can guarantee who's strong for 72 games and get the job done. And right now, the Flyers don't really have that. They just have a bunch. They've had just a bunch of temporary expedients for the past 30 years. They need that lockdown goaltender, but they have good, strong forwards and a real good mix. And they're slowly bringing it together, and they're like 1 or 2 seasons away from really putting together a great combination and being a team of the future. And hopefully, in the years to come, they will regain their dominance of the NHL and hopefully win another Stanley Cup.
Yeah. And one last question before I let you go, and I appreciate you for coming on the show. I didn't know what type of response I was going to get, but people are really excited about the book. And one guy in particular, he actually owns a minor league baseball team, and he said the business of sports, he loves it. So it's great. Now, the Las Vegas Golden Knights, their first year division champs, up 2-0 on the Kings. Talk about this team and what they've been able to achieve this year right out the gate.
Well, one of my biggest coups was in talking to George McPhee, who is their general manager, a month or so before the regular season began. It was a great coup on my part because I ranked him because of his work when he was general manager of the Washington Capitals. He managed them to their sole Stanley Cup Finals appearance in 1998, and he helped draft Alexander Ovechkin. He brought up Bruce Boudreau and gave him his NHL coaching debut. He made, the Caps' great work during the late 2000s and early 2010s was under when he was their general manager. And then he got let go, and for a time he was in limbo doing consulting work with the Islanders. And then when Vegas came into being, he was hired as their general manager. And we had no way of knowing that they were going to be as great as they were. When I talked to him, I asked him the magic question: do you think you'll be able to break the NHL record of most team points by an expansion team in its first season, which was set by the Florida Panthers in 93-94 season? And he kind of demurred. He said, well, we're going to do our best, but oh my goodness. If they don't give him the NHL General Manager of the Year award this season, then there is no justice in this world. There is no justice. I mean, this is stupendous. Absolutely stupendous. I mean, the only other expansion team that ever reached the Stanley Cup Final its inaugural year was, the St. Louis Blues in 67-68, and that's because the way the league was, one of those expansion teams was going to make it because that's how the rules were back then. But I mean, the fact that he's got a shot at doing it, it's not impossible. It's just absolutely fantastic, and someone's got to make a documentary out of that. Either ESPN 30 for 30 or HBO Sports or the NBC Sports. They got to do a documentary about this because this is an incredible story.
It is. It's amazing. So really appreciate you for coming on. Glad we were able to make this happen. Once again, this is Matthew DiBiase. He's author of 2 books. The most recent one, The Art of the Dealers, the NHL's Greatest General Managers, and then also Bench Bosses, the NHL's Coaching Elite. I put the links in the chat room. I will do it again so you guys can go check it out. It's a great read. So appreciate you for coming on, and love to do it again. Seems like you're kind of on a 2-year span here. So can we expect another book in 2019 of October?
And it's a good thing you asked me that. I like to give a shout out to your listeners. I like to let them know that this is the second of many more books to come in this similar vein. Next year, around Labor Day weekend, next year, you can expect my 3rd book, tentatively to be titled Lords of the Gridiron, College Football's Greatest Coaches, to be released.
Ooh, man, you got me excited already saying that.
And since you're based in Dallas, I featured, there's at least 2 coaches from the University of Texas who will be featured there, the late Darrell Royal and Mack Brown. And I interviewed Mack Brown for this future book. And using a rating system that I personally devised, I will identify, rate, and rank the 50 greatest college football coaches of all time.
Wow. Well,
and it'll come out. It'll come out in Labor Day weekend 2019, which next year will be the 150th anniversary of the very first college football game ever played. And then after that, I want to either in 2020 or 2021, I want to put out a book about the 50 greatest pro basketball head coaches of all time. And then after that, like 2022, I want to put out a book on the 50 greatest NFL head coaches of all time. Wow. And then in 2026, I want to come out with a book, the 50 greatest Major League Baseball managers of all time. And then like 2 or 3 years after that, I want to talk about, deal with the 50 greatest college basketball coaches of all time. So if I'm still alive and still kicking, we're going to be doing a lot more interviews, Ben, in the years and decades to come. So
definitely,
we'll be hearing from me again, and I'll enjoy talking to you and your beautiful and wonderful listeners very, very much.
Definitely. Well, thank you again. Like I said, I'll put the links in the chat room again. You can get the books on Amazon, and also you can find him on Facebook. Matthew DiBiase, follow his page. I'm sure he would love to have you. So thank you again for coming on. Have a good rest of your weekend.
Take care, and God bless you, Ben.
You too. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Wow. What's on the horizon for him is amazing. All these books that he's going to be coming out with, especially the college football one. I'm impressed. I'm impressed with that guy's expertise. His study, the time and work that he puts in is amazing. Shout out to DJ Dollars and Cents in the building. Man, we've had a fun-filled show so far. And last but not least, I was able to interview Terrance Bennett, who is the host of the T-ENT Sports Podcast. We talked about the Saints. We talked about the Dez situation. We also talked about his Pelicans and a couple of other things from this week. He is actually at work right now, so I could not get him on the show live, but I will play that interview here in a moment, so everybody stay tuned. And, man, it's been a great show so far, so we'll be right back. You're tuned into the BS3 Sports Show. I'm your host, Ben, BS3, on 2LiveStudiosRadio.com. Part of the X Squad. Looking to get the perfect gift for the lady in your life, especially with Mother's Day coming around? Let's not wait till the last minute. Business owner BRANDI Franklin is here for you. Purchase cosmetics through her unique line by visiting uniqueproducts.com/beautiful 2018, and unique is spelled YOUNIQUE, or trendy and affordable purses, totes, and bags through her My 31 line by visiting my31.com, which is all spelled out, /1964670. Also, like BRANDI's Facebook pages at Beautiful 2018 VIP and 31 with BRANDI to be up to date on exclusive deals and virtual parties. If you're interested in starting your own business, join BRANDI's team for just $99. You'll get a full presenter's kit and everything you need to be successful. Email her at brandy.howler95@gmail.com for more details. He shoots. He scores. It's D-Jax, and I'm live with BS3 Sports Show. Keep it locked.
Back in the BS3 Sports Show,
and we got a familiar voice that's going to be coming back on the show. We got Terrance Bennett of the T-ENT Sports Podcast. What's going on today?
What's going on with you, Ben?
Yeah, man, doing good. And we got the big news today. Dez getting released. That's what I predicted because it really looked like that was kind of the writing on the wall. But
right.
I wanted to get your thoughts on it. And do you see Dez possibly going to the Saints?
I mean, it's crazy. It happened all of a sudden, but not really a shocker because I think it's been in discussion for a minute. But I just talked to my brother about the whole thing. He was saying Jerry Jones said something about that they weren't gonna release him. But like I said last time on your show, I really don't believe nothing Jerry Jones say.
Right.
So I felt like it was gonna happen because I think it was a locker room issue and he was performing like he been doing. So I mean, like I said, at the end of the day, NFL a business. So I mean, I just knew it was coming. So I'm not really shocked by it.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and my thoughts and listening to Dallas radio all the time, they had so much time that they didn't do anything. Like there's been, I believe it's been 100 days since the season ended, and they haven't talked to Dez. There hasn't been no communication. They've signed 2 wide receivers. So, I mean, the writing was kind of on the wall. With me, it was just a matter of how was it going to happen. And from Dez's own mouth, he said it wasn't his choice. They released him, and that's it. So we'll see what happens from here. My prediction is, though, I think he's going to stay in the NFC East. I think he's going to one of those teams that the Cowboys fans hate, but I think that's where he's going to end up.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be a team that they got to play Dallas or whatever a couple times, kind of like the Richard Sherman situation. The team he went to, he went San Francisco.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
so they'll play the Seahawks 2 times. So I mean, it worked out. So I think it'll work out for them.
Yeah, definitely. So I wanted to talk about your Saints. I asked you, I know you're a big Saints fan. You talk about the Saints on your podcast as well. And make sure everybody that you go check that out. It's on iTunes. Also, it's on Google Play. T-ENT Sports. But how do you feel about the Saints off season so far?
Oh man, they putting in work, man. They get some guys. They got Meredith already. They will have some nice draft picks. We got Watson back. He came back. Then we got P. Rob back. He came back. He just won a Super Bowl with Philly. I mean, I think we get some good look, man. And like I said, we had a young team last year as well. So, I mean, I think we're going to capitalize this year. I think this the year. I said this last time, like I tell you, last time on your show, they were going to go pretty far. And they did. They went pretty far.
They did.
That play they had played against Minnesota, that hurt my feelings, man. That hurt my feelings. Man.
I was gonna ask you about that. How did you? I mean, how pissed were you? Because I know that was it. That was the game right there.
That was the worst feeling ever in life, man. I was hurt. But big ups to Marcus Williams though, man. He played a great game. He working, man. He working real hard. I believe he'll be one of the top backfield cornerbacks playing in the league, man. That he never gonna make that mistake again. I'm sure. He stated that. He's been working. I watch his Instagram all the time. So he definitely gonna be a top back next year for sure. So yeah. I think we'll be all right next year.
Definitely. And I mean, yeah, you guys were young with Alvin Kamara, Mark Ingram. I mean, I think it was a good mixture of youth and experienced players. And of course, you got Drew Brees. He's there. He's back. Was there a little bit of nervousness that he could possibly leave and go somewhere else?
Yeah, I know I wasn't worried about that. I mean, he loves New Orleans too much, and he definitely wants the guys probably come a Super Bowl before he leave, man. So his family in love with New Orleans. He got businesses in New Orleans, state of Louisiana. I mean, he just loves the city, man. I knew that when he wasn't going nowhere, I wasn't even shocked. They were just trying to work out a good deal for him, so it happened. So I'm happy. So we still got Drew.
Good. So there was news that came out this week that they are eliminating the colored rush uniforms.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool with because you don't see that very many options. Most of the time it's their home, it's their ways. They may do that alternate joint that they do for Thanksgiving or some type of holiday. But I was a fan of it, and I wanted to ask you: were you a fan of the color rush uniforms? Are you happy that they're leaving?
I mean, it was popping, man. It was something different for the league. Man, I like them. I like the Saints all white, definitely. I mean, I like it, just a different look for the NFL, like not keeping it